Baseball has the best sports movies. Even people who aren't fans of the game would agree that there are very few movies from other sports that equal the likes of Bull Durham, The Sandlot, Moneyball, and of course, Field of Dreams. In 2021, inspired by the movie, the MLB built their own stadium in the cornfields of Iowa and held a game between the Yankees and the White Sox. The Yankees were chosen as they were the team Ray's father played for, and the White Sox as they were the team of Shoeless Joe Jackson, his dad's favorite player. The game itself was just as memorable as the movie, with players emerging out of the cornfield and a nail-biter classic that ended with an incredible walk-off home run by Tim Anderson and the White Sox. As the saying goes, there's nothing more American than baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. So Guy Fieri went and put them all together with an original recipe just for this game. Guy Fieri has posted his recipe for these apple pie hot dogs, but I noticed there was some room for improvements. So follow along with me and let's see if we can make our own apple pie hot dog. The trick to making perfectly flaky pie crust is to keep everything as cold as possible before baking. So we're going to use that strategy in every step of making the crust. Cut up 2 sticks of cold butter into cubes and immediately return them to the refrigerator. Measure out 10 ounces of flour and whisk that together with half a teaspoon of salt. Add your cubed butter into the flour and mash it up with a fork or pastry cutter until the butter is in small pieces and combined with the flour. If at any point the butter gets too warm and starts melting, put the bowl in the refrigerator for a bit. With ice cold water, add it to your flour a tablespoon at a time until it just holds its shape, but is not a smooth dough. It's going to take less water than you think you need. My first batch, I actually added a bit too much water, so I quickly whipped together a second batch in which I got a much better consistency. Turn the dough out onto a floured work surface and gently knead it for a minute or two until it comes together and pat it down into a flat circle. Wrap the dough up in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for 1 to 3 hours. Next, we'll make a simple bacon jam. Cut up 6 slices of bacon into very small pieces. Put them in a cold pan and saute them over medium heat until they're golden brown. Pour the excess bacon fat out of the pan and add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of honey, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and a touch of black pepper, and continue to cook until the sauce thickens up. For our apple pie filling, we'll start by mixing our apple pie spice. Combine 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, and 2 teaspoons of allspice and whisk that together. I then peeled 8 Granny Smith apples, but Honeycrisp and Braeburn apples also make great pies. Cut out the cores of the apples and then cut them into small, thin pieces. As our apple pie hot dogs are significantly smaller than a full pie, you want your apple pieces to be a lot smaller than you normally would for an apple pie. This ended up being a little too much filling for how much crust I had, so next time I might make half as much. Put your apples in a bowl and add half a cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and 3 teaspoons of your apple pie spice, and use your hands to thoroughly mix that all together. In a pot, add your filling and cook it down with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch until it forms a nice thick sauce. Take your dough out of the fridge and gently roll it out on a floured work surface until it's about a 1/4 inch thick. Cut it into 3-inch by 5-inch rectangles and take the excess and roll it out again and cut more rectangles out of it. Transfer the rectangles to a floured baking sheet. Brush the edges of about half of them with egg wash. Mash up some of your apple pie filling with a fork and spread that on each piece, and spread some bacon jam in the middle. Place a hot dog in the middle with it sticking out at one end, and place a second rectangle on top and seal the edges with a fork. Brush the tops with egg wash and sprinkle some demerara sugar and apple pie spice on top. Bake your pies for 20 to 25 minutes at 350 degrees until the crust is golden brown. While they're baking, we'll make some apple pie mustard. Take equal parts apple pie filling and yellow mustard and puree it in the blender. Take the pies out of the oven and drizzle some apple mustard on top. These turned out so well. The combination of pork and apples is a classic combo, and the sweetness of the pie balances nicely with the fattiness of the bacon and the tartness of the apple mustard. I could easily eat 5 of these. Turns out the voice in Ray Kinsella's Cornfields was absolutely correct.